I had a fun morning this morning. I went down to the police station, filed a police report against Blue and Revolver Bernie, giving them all pertinent information, screenshots, video clips, video links, all this other stuff. They take, I mean, that's a serious threat to abduct someone, to kidnap someone. That's an incredibly serious threat. They have to take it seriously. I don't know if they're going to investigate. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But they said, well, at the very least, if something does happen to me, Blue and Revolver Bernie will be suspects number one. So, that said, I have a day.
Hey guys, how you doing today? I want to answer a question that some people have been asking me. They've said, Nick, are death threats free speech? I think they are. I think they are. Now, obviously, there's kind of a gray area. There's kind of a fine line. Obviously, if you outright say that you're going to, kill a public official, yeah, then the police look into it generally, but that's because the state is very fearful in regards to its fellow bureaucrats. Now, some people have brought up the so-called death threats that I've made. For example, one person said basically one of my haters decided to contact my sister, and I said to him, I PM'd him, I said, quote, let me make something perfectly clear, motherfucker, you harm my family or make any kind of trouble for them, I will track you down and end your miserable fucking existence. You want to play this fucking game, bringing YouTube drama into real life, so be it. You want to call the FBI and report a death threat, go for it. I'm sure they'd be interested in your cyber harassment. Well, FBI never showed up. So, I guess he didn't take the threat seriously. And there's other times where I've gotten really pissed off. And, a lot of these people have, they've sit there, they've acted like they've turned over a new leaf, only to stab me in the back when I wasn't paying attention. One thing that I basically said about Happy Cabby, for example, I said in one thing, I said, and they call this a death threat right now, this comment that I'm about to read. I say, also, if Fat Fuck was afraid of me, he wouldn't be harassing me constantly. I know his address, I can easily drive 6 hours to Mesa, I have weapons, etc. If he was afraid of me, he'd remove all his videos, never mention me again, and sure as hell not make videos about me. His I'm scared bullshit has worn thin upon the ears and eyes of his viewers, and that's the reality of it. I mean, consider how many times that I've made, so-called death threats. I've never acted on any of them. Now you say, well, why do you make death threats? Well, think about it, okay? I have an army of trolls harassing me, making all kinds of slanderous allegations against me, involving themselves in my real life. They're calling government agencies and reporting me for crimes that I've not committed. They've, called up acting schools. They've called up other places. They've called up places of employment. They've called people that I know. I mean, they've done everything they can to involve themselves in my real life. Now, there's a couple of things here. I'm getting no help from the police. I'm getting no help from YouTube. No help from any government agency. No help from any of my friends even, in regards to tracking these people down and making them stop. One troll, I found out where he lived, and I found out his real name, and I said, hey, I know your information. He backed off, at least publicly. Another thing of it is if these people were actually afraid of me, they wouldn't sit there and harass me. If you're genuinely afraid of someone, if you think somebody does have what it takes to kill you, the last thing you're going to do is sit there and continuously make videos slandering them and making them angry. And I think we can see a pattern of where I have lost my temper and I've said that I wish these people were dead or that I would like to kill them. And no police have ever showed up. And these trolls have shown that some of them do know where I live. Yeah, I mean, I've never gotten in trouble for any of them, so I mean, I guess that's how seriously law enforcement takes this. I mean, if it's a serious issue, if this is real, I mean, and the pattern has been established that I will say these things to them and never act on them. If I was going to act on it, I would have done it by now. Some people might say, well, the reason you haven't acted on it is because you don't know where they live. Well, first and foremost, I do know where Happy Cabby lives. But I'm sure as hell not going to throw away my life on just trying to do something to him. I mean, he's not worth it. He's really, honest to God, not worth the effort. None of these people are. But at the same time, they certainly think that I'm worth the effort to destroy. So, you know, it's just this is more evidence that they have of me being a bad person in their mind. And also, you know, here's the thing though. Their argument is it's just YouTube. It doesn't matter what you say on YouTube. It doesn't matter at all what you say about somebody on YouTube or to someone on YouTube. That's their argument. That's their argument. Well, then if it doesn't matter what they say and do on YouTube, then it shouldn't matter what I say and do on YouTube either. See, you gotta turn it into a universal premise. Because if you're gonna say that if you do something and it's perfectly fine, that means if I should get to do it too, and it's perfectly fine. But this is a big problem that these people have, is they want the ability to do whatever the fuck they want, and they've been shown by YouTube that they can do whatever the fuck they want without consequence. And I really can too, except for the fact that these people do everything they can to personally bring consequences against me for doing the exact same things that they do to me and other people. But this is a big problem that these people have, is they want the ability to do whatever the fuck they want, and they've been shown by YouTube that they can do whatever the fuck they want without consequence. And I really can too, except for the fact that these people do everything they can to personally bring consequences against me for doing the exact same things that they do to me and other people. It's just ridiculous. So yes, it is okay to make death threats on YouTube. It is free speech. It is freedom of speech. Now, I understand if I would be making... Well, and see, that's another thing with these people. I don't know who they are. They hide behind usernames. Now, if I would sit there and if one of them would... Say one of them happens to be a bureaucrat, and I would say, you know, I'm going to do this and that to you, and they would call the cops and say, hey, one of your fellow bureaucrats, has been death threatened. Well, that means I would have to go to court. And I would get to know who my accuser is. At the very least, I'd be able to see their face and hear their voice, and I'd get to look face to face from them as they give their testimony and stuff. That's the reality of it. So, by that, you can tell none of these people are important. None of these people are worth a second thought in regards to the state. They're really nobodies. They're absolutely fucking nobody. Now, as far as like that death threat video thing that's still floating around there, you know, I've explained that repeatedly. But again, if you literally think that somebody is going to kill you because they say something on the internet or post something on the internet, chances are they're blowing smoke. Chances are that if it's been over 5 years 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, close to 5 years, and it still hasn't happened, chances are it's not going to happen. That's the reality of it. Yet, these people are pretty fucking desperate to do everything they can to make me look like a monster. I mean, I honestly feel like I'm being watched by the secret police. And I know that's false because I'm not important enough to be monitored by the secret police. But apparently I'm important enough for these assholes to sit there and monitor. And I think that any law enforcement official would see a lot of this evidence, what the trolls were doing, and they'd say, yeah, I can understand like, how you'd want to, put these people out of their fucking misery. He'd probably agree, And see, that's the thing. If I was a bureaucrat, if I was a judge or a lawyer even, or a doctor, I could sit there and hire a lawyer. I could hire the courts to deal with these people. I could hire lots of people to deal with these people. And what's funny is these trolls give themselves away because they scream so violently. Well, you know what? If any of these so-called death threats mean anything, and if I'm a bad person, hey, call the FBI. Call the FBI, send them over to my house. I will be more than happy to show them every little bit of evidence that I have on my trolls, including the stupid forum that they have about me. Because here, the reality of it is that I have every right to say anything I damn well please on YouTube, just like the trolls do. That's reality. See, I'm equal to the trolls. I'm equal in that I get to do and say whatever the fuck I want, just like they get to say and do whatever the fuck they want. So, with that said, but yeah, I mean, they've got, they're going on and on about death threats. Sherry somehow is claiming that me calling her non-existent daughters whores is a death threat. Again, these people have to stretch the definition of death threat to the point of absurdity. And they still haven't been able to get the fucking FBI to knock on my door. Please, I encourage you. If you think that I am that much of a threat to your safety, please call the FBI. I had one troll on the YouTube help forum tell one of the moderators there that I'm this horrible person, that I've done all these crimes and blah, 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 blah. The moderator, whoever, he just said, if you have evidence, go to the proper authorities. I encourage you, trolls. Go to the proper authorities. Come on. Seriously, go to the proper authorities. Because I cannot wait to have, FBI agents knock on my door so that I can show them the evidence of you people cyber-stalking me. Because if what I do is actionable, that means what you do is actionable as well. Hey guys, how are you this morning? I want to do a little video response to Onision and Happy Cabby and their videos on gun violence. I want to talk a little bit about something, and that is the nature of what a gun is. It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or evil. Either way, it's simply a tool. Just a tool. What this weapon relies on is the human being operating it. Now, let me show you something. I also have a crossbow. I could use this to do something as well, although it doesn't have the power of a gun. I mean, for example, if I have an intruder in my home, say the intruder is over 300 pounds, hopped up on the drug of his choice, wearing suspenders, a high degree of facial hair because he doesn't bathe or take care of himself properly. And let's say this guy is breaking into my home. Let's say I load the crossbow. Well, that's one shot right there. Takes quite a few seconds to reload the crossbow. And if I miss, that's going to be a problem. Now, let's say I decided to use a knife on this intruder. This knife is a very big, heavy knife. See that? It's a big, heavy knife. Now, if I've got the intruder and I'm striking at him, what if he grabs it? What if he somehow wrestles it from my hand? What if somehow he gets it away from me, that it can be used against me? So this also doesn't have that much stopping power in regards to a quick end to the problem. Well, I mean, if I'm really lucky, I could, get him up there on his throat. But what if I'm, sticking him with it, and because he's over 300 pounds, it's just layers and layers of fat, which really doesn't bother him much. I mean, he'd think of it like he'd think of it as a free tummy tuck, right? So, with that said, I would be better off with something like this. Because if I've got a over 300-pound intruder, 6 foot, wearing suspenders, unhygienic, hasn't bathed in God knows how long, and he's hepped up on whatever drug of choice he has. And I have this, which I believe it will hold, I forget how many shots it holds at once. I think 4 or 5. I'm probably wrong on that. I actually haven't fired this yet. I need to go out to the range sometime. I would basically aim it at the intruder. I would charge it, or whatever. And I would say to the intruder, back off. Don't do, get out of my house or I'll shoot you. Well, if the intruder didn't, then I would pull the trigger. And if he continued and got closer, I would once again and fire again. Although I'm pretty sure your average intruder would be, would stop at the sight of a gun. You wouldn't even have to really use it. Now, as far as handguns go, I probably need to get a handgun because those are much more compact. Because, if it's a small space like this room, there's not really, a lot of room for me to do much. So while this is a good tactical weapon to a great degree, it still does not serve the same function as a handgun. Oh, look, a troll. Oh, got him. So, somebody like Onision, I mean, if he had a gun, I feel perfectly safe because I know that he is a person of character. Whereas, in the hands of a 300-plus pound redneck wearing suspenders who is high on drugs every day, I wouldn't want that guy to have so much as a butter knife in his hands. I mean, seriously. It's not about the tool. It's about the character of the person wielding the tool. The character of the person who is possessing the gun and willing to use it for whatever purpose, whether it's a good purpose or a bad purpose. I know this video is long.
Polite conversation shouldn't take more than a half hour, maybe an hour, depends on how quickly we can cut the fat, so to speak, or chew the fat. What's the colloquialism? Cut the fat or chew the fat? I forget. Cut to the chase. Yes, that's good. Yeah. Cut to the chase. Cut to the chase. Yes. You know what? This is really durable, sticky duct tape. So when I get up to when I'm in the woods, I can probably actually use it to help put a shelter together. I'm just gonna have a conversation with him, that's all. Just gonna have a conversation. Just a conversation, because I know he's watching. He pulled some bullshit. He called up Freedom's Phoenix and told somebody that I had gotten a death threat. So, I don't know what that was about. I was like, what the fuck? Basically, it was that he didn't like seeing the fact that I was on TV at one of those protests. So he got freaked out. No, actually what he did is he said, and I just heard this from one of my fellow activists, apparently he called and said that somebody had made a death threat against me, but they had emailed him. Apparently, you know, either my boss or one of his buddies thought that Cabby was on his side. Apparently the email told him that he had to be, basically the email said to him that he had to be in a public place for 48 hours. Yeah, for whatever reason. No, the death threat was against me. Somebody apparently emailed a death threat about me to him. Apparently they said, Cabby, we need you to be in a public place for X amount of hours. That's funny. That's funny. He's just looking out for you. He gets rid of my YouTube channel. He destroys my Block TV channel. He makes slanderous video after slanderous video about me, and you want to claim he's looking out for me? That's insane. That's insane! Do you know how insane that is? Do you know how insane that is? Huh? I said, do you know how insane that is? Don't know. Frankly, I think it was either him that made it up or one of his troll buddies. I'm just gonna have a conversation with him. That's all I'm gonna do. I spent like a half hour sharpening this.